on camera too. This is decaf, by the way, which means it probably won't do anything. Thought of eating salmon, like, you know when you get the saliva that builds up in the back of your throat? Hello, my name is Lisa and welcome to my first YouTube. I'm gonna restart that. Hi, my name is Lisa. I am 14 weeks and 3 days with my first baby. My husband and I, Derek, live in Western New York with our very, I don't even know, ham of a dog, Wendell. And yeah, welcome to my first YouTube video. This video is just going to be a first trimester recap video with also the element of what it's like being pregnant in chronic pain. I will go over this in more detail in a later video, but for the past like 2.5 years I have suffered from Eagle syndrome and trigeminal nerve pain on both sides of my face, which has just been a very life-changing journey. And I'm very grateful to be at where I am now, being pregnant, because I never thought I would be in this position to where this would be a possibility. So yeah, I always found these videos helpful when I was trying to get myself prepared for what motherhood and pregnancy might look like. So I hope you find this helpful too. And if you're also in chronic pain, you are not alone, and I hear you and I see you. So grab your coffee and let's go. For all the people worried about staining their teeth, I also see you too. So I guess we can start with when my husband and I decided, like, yeah, we're gonna start trying to get pregnant. This was around March, and you know, I didn't really have a concept of, or an idea of what that was going to look like, how long it was going to take, because I know every person's journey is different with fertility and getting pregnant. So I didn't really have a lot of expectations of it happening soon, but to our surprise, it happened very quickly. And the thing about myself is I spoil things for myself. So this was our first time like trying. We had tried about 3 times at this point. And for some reason, I like felt different. Like, you know, it's hard to explain, but your body just feels different. Something about you just internally, you just like, I just don't feel like the me that I used to feel like, in not a bad or good way, but just it's different. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm pregnant. And so I decided to start testing way too early, mind you. I tested like probably like 2 weeks before you're supposed to like test, which was like if you miss your period, basically, or from what I read on the internet. We all know how resourceful and honest that is. So I tested very, very early on, and I kept getting like the faintest pink line, like the faintest pink line. Okay, technically there's a line that means I'm pregnant, but then I would test again and I wouldn't get anything. So I don't know, but it was like official when I did the pregnancy test that's digital and it says yes or no. So I finally like said, I'm gonna do one of those just to like kind of figure it out. And it came back pregnant, and we found out on my husband's birthday, which was very, very special. Worst timing though is I told him right before we were supposed to go out to a bar with a bunch of our friends to celebrate. So that was just kind of stewing in my mind. I don't recommend planning anything big or trying to find out right before you're doing a big event that involves alcohol, and then you have to create an excuse of why you're not drinking. Like I said, my body just felt different. I found I was hungrier for certain like things, just like very nutrient dense foods. And I'm not like someone who doesn't eat. Like I could eat, but more frequently I found myself hungrier more often. Around week 6 and 7 is when I really started to feel the physical symptoms of pregnancy. So I started to get really, really tired at like 5 p.m. Just like exhausted, like had a hard time keeping my eyes open. And it just like very different from the energy level that I usually have. I'm like, not that I'm ready to run a marathon at 5 p.m., but I was like ready to go to bed at 5 p.m. during this time. And so I would stick it out, and then around 9 p.m. I was falling asleep in my bed, like as having a conversation with my husband. So that was the first real big like, oh my gosh, like this is like an introduction to what it's like. Around 3 or 4 weeks was I started to get really bad insomnia. And I have always dealt with anxiety and depression. So dealing with insomnia was something that I was familiar with. Since going on this whole pain journey with different medications I've been on, a lot of the nerve pain medications they use are most of the time like antidepressants, or they're doing something with your mind to kind of either like, I'm probably saying this incorrectly, to block different receptors or suppress things. So my anxiety, since being on all these different medications, actually got better, surprisingly. So with this like pregnancy and getting insomnia again, my mind would just be on. I would just have such a hard time, not so much falling asleep, but if I woke up, I was awake. I would wake up like 2 or 3 times a night, like having to go to the bathroom and then coming back to our bedroom and not being able to fall asleep at all. And it was terrible. And I didn't know, this is something that I was surprised I didn't hear more about in first trimester videos, but obviously it happens to other people. I'm not saying that it doesn't. The ones that I watched didn't really like mention it. I didn't realize that insomnia was a symptom of pregnancy. And it's super common. When I talked to my OB about it, she's like, oh yeah. And so she had mentioned that that should settle as you get closer to your 2nd trimester, which thankfully it did. I was so happy once, like the first night that I was able to have like a full night's sleep, I was a different person. I was a different person. And also too, something that didn't help was drinking less coffee. Obviously you're not supposed to drink as much coffee when you're pregnant, and so I wasn't doing that. Therefore I was even more exhausted, not working out. All this stuff just kind of compounded, so my sleep really suffered. So that was one symptom that if you're experiencing, it's normal. Because I didn't know it was normal. Sorry, I need a little sip of coffee. This is decaf, by the way, which means it probably won't do anything. But here we are. So another symptom that I guess I wasn't surprised by, but I wasn't aware of like how prevalent it would become, just like in day-to-day activities, was hip pain. I'd noticed that on my walks, I would just get like this deep set pain running from the outside of my hip up through my back. And it would be really difficult to kind of carry on through my walk, even though, you know, walking's really good for you, especially when you're pregnant. I was just like struggling, and I was like, what is going on? And I regularly see a massage therapist, and he mentioned that your body is naturally going to start shifting and creating space for the baby. So certain muscles are going to become tighter, certain ones are becoming looser. Also, if you're like compensating for like the new weight on the front of your body, that can all heavily contribute to it. And from his perspective, who said there's not a whole lot you can do to prevent it, just because it's your body naturally adapting for the baby. But a lot of stretching and different things like that will help. So I've been doing a lot more stretching than I usually do, and that has helped. I still get like little twinges every now and then, but overall it's been a lot better. So I have been very, very grateful that I have not had any morning sickness or much food aversion, really. I think at around 8 weeks I had food aversion to salmon, which I love salmon, so I was really upset. Just like the thought of eating salmon, like, you know, when you get the saliva that builds up in the back of your throat, that started happening, even like the thought of salmon. So salmon was out for like 2 weeks, but I was fine after that, and since then I haven't really had any food aversions or nausea, which again, very, very grateful, because I know a lot of people that is not the case, and I hate throwing up, so I'm so sorry if you were going through that. And kind of like the last thing that I've really noticed physically wise with my first trimester was just having a little bit more cravings for sweeter things like fruits and ice creams. I don't know what it is, but like, you know, when you get a good watermelon, and it's just I was craving watermelon, grapes, different ice creams, things like that. Those have been like my top cravings, but other than that, nothing super like wild, like peanut butter and pickles, or I don't even know, like Cheetos, and I'm rambling at this point. So yeah, that has been basically my first trimester. I am sorry. I am very grateful that it's been, for me, pretty easy so far. Obviously, I've never been pregnant prior, so I have nothing to compare it to, but if someone were to ask me, how has this been? I would say overall it's been very easy. And I'm very, very grateful. That could change, obviously, and you know, I can't control certain things that happen, but yeah, overall I'm very excited and to see what the rest of this pregnancy has for me and my baby, and just to see how they continue to grow. But yeah, basically that has been my first trimester so far. Now I'm in my second trimester, so it's gonna bring a whole new round of different experiences and things like that. But thank you so much for watching. I'm grateful because this is my first YouTube video and you chose to watch it, which is crazy because there's so much content out there. But I'm very, very grateful. If you are someone that's pregnant or trying to get pregnant, or you already have kids, and yeah, feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to say hi and send you some good thoughts your way, prayers, whatever you need. Especially if you're a mama in chronic pain. It's entirely different going through not only life in general in chronic pain, but life while pregnant in chronic pain, because everything is just kind of different because of it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Say bye. Wendell, say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. He hates me. Goodbye.